Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Sitting at the kids' table of community radio. It's the Audience of One show on Conroe's 106.1 and 104.5 FM, streaming on irlonestar.com and available wherever you tend to get your podcasts from. On today's show, we discuss what the blind see during hallucinations, allowing yourself to be run over by a huge tire, and all the stuff that was lost in last week's show due to multiple computer crashes. I am Andrew, maestro of the run sheet, next to the guy who thinks it takes a special scenario to fake your own death. It's Dick. I went to a wrestling match at a bar. Schisler. Schisler.
Yeah. We are here without any computer mistakes that just happened 5 minutes ago.
It's an epidemic out there, folks. It's an epidemic.
It's a crapshoot. That's what I like to call it. And welcome back to the show. I want to remind people that we're here every Friday.
10 a.m.
10 a.m. Podcast, YouTube, Lone Star Community Radio.
Donate and sponsor if you're so inclined.
Yeah, or reach out, audienceofoneshow@gmail.com.
That's right.
And did you have a good weekend?
I had a good weekend. Probably not as interesting as yours, but I didn't do much. Just kind of hung around the house and cut up some firewood because we had a tree that had fallen some time ago. But that's about it.
So, speak of fallen tree, people don't know, in this area we had a pretty bad storm. And it was probably one of those storms that was really high wind, not that much water. Mm-hmm. So everyone had tree damage. Well, one of our show hosts, Dan Zentek, the officer who does Crime Scene Today, I haven't seen him in like 3 months. And I was like, what's going on, man? And he goes, a tree fell through my house. And he sent me photos, and it fell through the house.
And that takes a while.
And I was like, you almost done? You moved back in? He's like, yeah, that's why I was, I'm coming back. And I think he said January but the main issue right now is there's a tree in my pool.
That makes swimming difficult.
Yeah, and he's like, and I go, I'm surprised it's not cracked. He's like, I have no idea what the condition of the pool is, but there's a giant tree in the pool. And
I'm sure it's not good. Let's put it that way.
But I was like, how do you get that out without damaging the pool?
Well, there's probably a service of some kind that would probably come along and fix that if I had to guess.
Yeah, I guess.
It impedes his backstroke, without a doubt.
No, yeah, I wanted to tell you two things happened this weekend that were really funny.
And now 2 things that happened to me this weekend by Dick.
2 funny things. Okay, so I went to the local CSSA, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Close enough.
Cajun competition. So there's gumbo and jambalaya, blah, blah, blah. It was really big. You had to take a freaking bus to it, which is hilarious to me. And they jacked up the tickets the day of. I'm not talking inconvenience fee jacked up. I'm talking that morning. I texted my buddy and I go, hey, do you want me to get tickets? He's like, we'll just get them at the door. I'm like, cool, $25, right? We get there. They only have one ticket and it's $45 plus fees.
My.
And I was like,
should have got them online, buddy. Should have got them online.
I looked at that morning. I go, I don't imagine them doubling the price.
Au contraire.
And they did.
And they did.
And anyway, we're sitting there, and they have this giant parking lot full. That's why you take the bus, because the parking lot was being used for the competition. Mm-hmm. Well, they had a Zydeco band on the stage, and in front of the stage was these guys cooking all this food. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's kind of cool, and it's free food. I'm like, this is good. It's catfish, frog legs, all that good stuff. And when you go to these events, if there's a missing kid or a legally parked car or whatever, they had stop the music and someone...
they got to announce it.
They got to announce it, right?
Sure. Someone in an F-150 has left their lights on.
Yeah, just like that. And then I'm sitting there, and this guy gets on stage. Here, I'm playing it. So I'm pulling up YouTube for our onesies on YouTube.
Onesie viewers.
And all of a sudden, I'm going to see if you can actually understand this guy. But this is what he...
It's a good thing to learn out there. Steel cracker's going to take you along. This is all you need to skin almost every animal in the world. 2 knives, a little gut hook, which I don't use for gut hooking, a little razor blade. We have a full-grown Louisiana doe, 90, 100 pounds, This ain't Wisconsin, dude. They don't get 300 pounds. We kill what we got.
It is impressive.
Oh, he shot
So,
a baby
you-
deer.
And
We
you
got
almost
it
think
tagged,
like
we
he's
got it
putting that
bagged.
on, but
Nice,
sadly,
beautiful
this
shot
is the
with
way a
the
lot of folks.
bowl
I say
right
sadly,
there.
just ironically.
That's 'cause you judge
Come
people.
along.
Yeah, that's
Look at
it.
this right here.
Not sadly, but just this is the way people talk
Oh,
in
yeah.
Louisiana.
So this,
in some cases, yeah.
This guy gets on stage, and I'm like, this, and he's talking like this, and I go, this is awesome. This guy's my spirit animal. Like, I love this. And I was amazed. And I take a picture of it, and I sent it to you and the rest of our group friends. And someone's like, "Oh, that's Stale Cracker,"
Of course it is.
and I go,
Stale
"Who the hell is Stale Cracker?" And then I thought it was just a guy helping running the event, but apparently he's a social media dude, and he has a YouTube channel. He cooks. So it was a really nice surprise because they had all these seasonings. So I bought some seasonings, which I love, and some of them were really good. And so I was like, this is kind of interesting. Like, this is what this guy does. Like, he just goes around. They hired
Good
him.
work if you can get it.
Yeah, they hired him to cook all this free food.
I feel like he has a really good recipe for possum. I don't know. He just kind of looks like the type of guy who
dude,
would
look at
take small field animals and rats and things and turn them into delicious meals.
See, this is the cracklins right here. I'm showing this to the ones. He's like, I want to make this food. This looks,
Cracklins. You know what that is, right?
yeah, it's beer.
Beer.
Beer. It's
Pig
pig
skin. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, look at that.
That's nasty.
That looks so
it probably
good.
stinks too.
Oh,
To
it looks
all
so okay.
high hell.
Hey, this is the
I'm
other
glad
story.
you got to meet your spirit animal. Yes, continue.
This is speaking of stink.
Oh no, I'm kind of scared where this is going.
This is gonna be. You're gonna love this.
I hope you washed your hands afterwards.
So we over the weekend after the crawfish deal, my brother gave me a bunch of a cow he bought or he had processed. So just different cuts and whatever. So I went to our mutual buddy Kurt's house and we smoked all day, just different cuts. Had a great time, right? Tried all my new seasonings. We did I think it was about like 18 pounds of meat. And we just smoked different things. Well, anyway, I wrap it all up, put it in a bag, and go to my car. And I put it in the passenger, behind the passenger seat, like where the feet are.
Did you have a bear come in and
No.
eat all your food?
So I put it on my jacket, right? I go back home, pull it out, put it in the fridge, done, right? So I think it was Tuesday. I was on Sunday, so on Tuesday morning, I'm like, man, it stinks in here. And I'm like, what? Nothing's in my car. Like, I don't know if you've seen my truck. I don't keep anything in it besides a jacket. I just have a spare jacket.
And a dead body every now and again.
That's what the truck bed's for. But I was like, man, it stinks. Like, I don't see anything. Like, I didn't leave anything in here. And like, none of that meat fell out. I was like, it just stinks like rotten.
Or did it?
Well, then when I get ready to go to work at the bowling alley later in the day, it was real bad. Like, to the point where I was like, I can't even be in this car.
Your eyes are watering.
Yeah. And I was like, what is that? So I get to the alley and I go, it better not be a dead rat. It better not. The rat better.
What was his name? What did we call him?
Merrill or something. I don't know.
Oscar. The rat's back.
Because I talked to the technician about my car since it's a battery or a hybrid. He's like, don't do any work on the battery side because you could die. So I'm thinking, did a rat really start chewing on the hybrid battery and just explode? And it's just like everywhere. So we get the guys that come out of the alley to help look around the car, under the car, all this stuff. Well, anyway, I go in and grab my jacket to move it. And it was soaking wet. And I was like, what? Why is my jacket soaking wet? And I smell it, and it just smells like just dead animal. And I'm guessing the meat, all that meat, I mean, I had like a bunch of meat. I guess it was leaking.
It leaked.
And it soaked. And if you open my
was
jacket.
This cooked or uncooked?
It was cooked.
Okay.
It was cooked. But
still.
all the juices, because we
Sure.
separated the fat and added it back in. And So
yeah.
we did it right. But it all went in my jacket. I'm talking like the whole jacket. This is a Carhartt big heavy-duty jacket.
You going to wring out your jacket and reuse that?
Well,
that
I
juice,
washed
or?
it. Still stinks. I washed it
bet.
twice.
It
Still
may-
stinks.
yeah, it may
and
not
so right
ever be
now
the
it's
same.
hanging under my back porch. And
That may be a lost jacket.
but
Just gonna
no,
say
it's
that.
no. That's actually that adds the flavor to that jacket. That's my work jacket when I
you're
work
gonna be-
outside.
or you're just going out and ladies be like, "What's that?" It's my musk.
It's my
You're gonna get some interesting ladies that are attracted to that smell.
it's my gooch. Well, what's even better is I thought I got rid of it, right? And apparently it still leaked into the floor mat because I have those rubber.
Oh,
I have
my
those rubber
God.
floor mats, So the rubber floor mats have those little slits.
Sure.
And so-
it was held the water.
And
in
I
there,
was
the
like,
juice.
I still stinks in there, and I flash a light on it, and it like reflects back. That's
like a
how.
puddle
It's
of
like it's dry.
decomposing.
It's dried.
Oh my God!
And I'm like,
Animal drippings.
It was
disgusting.
I was really hoping it was a rat again. And yeah, so guys, just so you know, if you transport meat, I would put it in a container. Mm-hmm. Not a plastic bag won't do it for it. And I wrapped it in foil and a Ziploc bag and all that stuff.
Things to live by.
But somehow it leaked.
Things to live by.
So
all right.
Yeah, I figured you'd enjoy that. I mean, if you go in my car right now, it has a little bit of a poo-poo smell.
Little tinge.
A little
kind of
poo-poo.
makes you miss the Hot Pocket
days. But it
days.
was so bad. Like, it was great as everyone came out to the car at the bowling alley, and right when I opened it, everyone was like, "Whoa!" And it was, I mean, it stunk like a butthole that was cooked by Mr. Stale-Cracker. And
interesting. We only need 2 knives, according to him. Well, I have an update on the Campbell's soup. By the way, I think I talked about this last week or the week before, how all the Campbell's soup cans look identical, and it would be beneficial if they had
Did you call the CEO?
a symbol of what was the contents of the can.
Yeah.
So I opened up the pantry in my house the other day, and there's one of the cans that I had purchased, and I'll be darned if it does actually have a picture of a little tomato for the tomato, and it has celery for this. But when I was in the store, I didn't see it. I was so focused in on just the
name,
letters,
yeah.
the name, that I didn't even see it. And now, so I think that just means that the picture's not big enough.
Oh, that means you're retarded.
Yeah,
that's
something.
What it means.
Something.
Well, it reminds me of me. I don't have time to read.
Yeah. Well, I was doing only reading. Oh, well. So I was driving on the highway the other day to see my parents for Thanksgiving, and I saw a billboard that said, "Vote Republican all the way down the ballot." And I kind of passed by it.
Words of encouragement.
Did a second, glance in my to look over, make sure I read it correctly, and I thought, who does this actually work on?
Everybody.
Is there somebody who was driving down the road and saw
people
that
voted for.
Huh?
I wrote in Joe Biden.
On second thought, I might just do that voting thing. Why not all the way down the ballot? To me, it just seems funny, like a complete waste of advertising revenue. Does that work on anyone?
So, speaking of which, I was having a conversation with one of my, the word liberal is so weird, but my friends in Austin, right? And they were talking about politics and they hate Trump. And I go, guys, you're thinking this all the wrong way. And I'm like, well, what is it like? Just think of Trump as like the stepdad that you never had, right?
Okay.
He's trying. He cares about you, but you're not his son.
Okay.
So he's just trying.
I don't know where you're going with this.
Well,
you're riffing, but I'm following.
But no,
I'm there.
That's what I was trying to explain to him. Because like he's gonna ruin everything. I'm like, yeah, the stepdad is your stepdad. He's
Just
not
temporary.
He's not
He'll be
your
another
real
one in
dad.
a few years.
Yeah, it's your stepdad. Just you
I
got.
don't know. I feel like voting is one of our greatest American rights. It's your best.
Is it a right?
Exercise your right to vote. Blah blah blah. It's your biggest responsibility. Yet you can be swayed by, in an instant, by a sign on the side of the road. Well, I guess I will vote that way. Just seems oddly.
Well, I mean, like especially what I love about it is I kind of do it sometimes too, just because it's easier. Because it's like certain elections, especially local elections, you could be like 10 pages. And I'm like, I'm not going through 40 options.
Although I don't think you can vote straight ticket anymore. I think they took that away a few years ago.
That's what I'm saying. I remember doing it one time here. I was like, I don't got time for this.
Speaking of Trump, how's your Trump dance coming? I know you've been working on it.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's my booty dance.
Is it?
It's my booty dance.
It's funny because it's funny this has become a popular dance. I'm thinking I've been dancing like that for 20 some odd years, but it wasn't because of Trump. It was just because I can't dance.
What's weird to me is I don't even know where that dance came from.
Oh,
in a
it's
sense
where
of,
he...
So I don't remember him doing that.
Oh, yeah, he's done it multiple times at
I
rallies. At the end, after he's done talking.
You watch these rallies?
Oh, yeah, I got him on tape, man. I watch him 2 or 3 times a day.
I refuse to watch those rallies just because when he came to Conroe, I think I told you that.
Yeah.
In one of the shows. I was like, I refuse to deal with this man ever again. He ruined my
Astros
playoffs.
He personally ruined your evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If people don't know what I'm talking about, he came to Conroe, had one of his rallies here. We got invited to go to this really cool Astros playoff outdoor screening at like the cool Main Street downtown. The whole downtown's blocked.
You still never...
Guess what they played instead of the playoffs? The rally. And I told the person, I go, here's the deal, guy. If I wanted to watch the rally, I would have gone to it. It's down the road. But I came here to watch baseball. And then
that's my Trump dance.
Yeah. I mean...
Speaking of,
yeah, hold on. Speaking of... where was I going with that?
I don't know. You lost your train of thought there, I think. So I think
brain
I mentioned
fart.
last week on one of the sections that we lost that I got the feeling that Black Friday was not as big a deal as it used to be. And now, since it's come and gone, I can verify that. It seems like Black Friday is just not a thing anymore.
Well, Cyber Monday is a thing, I'd realized.
And so what they're trying to do is the deals are now in the stores rather than online. Because I
thought that was always like that. Like, you had to be there to get the deal.
Well, but they started really offering the same thing online. What they're doing now is not offering the same deal online and only in the store.
Because, like, the thing about the cyber stuff...
Trying to get people back into the stores.
Online stuff is a scam. Because they're like...
Oh, you think?
Well, yeah, because, like, 3 months ago,
all right,
they'll jack up the price, and they'll, like, reduce it for Cyber Monday now. Even though, like, 4 months ago, you could have gotten it for that same price.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
You don't know about that?
I guess not.
Yeah, there's a great website called camel.com, I think it is. And you can track Amazon pricing of a product.
Okay.
It'll tell you throughout the last, like, 3 years. And some person noticed, like, Amazon, what they would do is, like, 2 to 3 months before Black Friday, they would jack up the prices for certain things for, like, 20% more, 10% more.
So that when they
15,
mark
so
it for
when
sale,
they mark it, it's like, 15% off.
but it's out just back to its regular price.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you got to give it up for the people trying to make a buck.
Yeah.
All right, man, you ready to kick off this show,
Yeah, I've
buddy?
always been, dude.
Yeah, I am ready as well. A Vietnamese court upheld the death penalty Tuesday for a property tycoon in a multi-billion-dollar fraud case. Did you hear about this? This is pretty interesting. Yeah, so apparently this is a woman in Vietnam.
Vietnam's pretty hardcore,
who has
by the way.
been sentenced to death.
Well, I feel like if you look at the court system in Vietnam, it's either, like, whatever you're in trouble for, it's either death or camp. There is no...
How about death camp? That'd be great.
Well, no, there is
You're going to camp till you die.
Like a workers' camp, not jail. Like, you're going to work. So, but there's no, like,
No in between?
probation. There's nothing. It's like, oh, you stole this bread, you're in camp for 2 years. Oh, you did this.
Well, this woman is now sentenced to death, but her life could still be spared if she paid back 3/4 of the assets that she embezzled, which is a total of $9 billion. It's kind of interesting, though. It's like, well, we feel like this crime is bad enough to where we need to punish you to death, but if you can give us some cash back, we can kind of oversee that. It's kind of strange. But this woman, apparently now, she's 68 years old. Her name is
cute.
Trong May Lan.
Yeah, I'll take her out.
You into Trong May? She's also a felon.
Yeah, I'm really into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that does it for you?
Yeah.
Well, she said she was in court
pulled
on
up
Tuesday.
a picture of her.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. That if she returns 3/4 of her stolen assets, her sentence could be reduced to a life in prison. But what's interesting is, like, the race is on now. She's got a time limit. I don't know what the date is before she has to come up with this $9 billion. But now she's selling or having someone sell everything: houses, assets, cars, trying to get as much money as she can.
This is
to
what
total
I would do. I call
$9
my
billion.
investment guy, but like, hey, whatever she's selling, buy it, because you can just work down the price.
So you bring up an interesting point, because she is a desperate seller.
That's what I'm saying.
You could probably get some good deals on a nice 3-bedroom in Ho Chi Minh right now if you really wanted to, because I think she owned at one point up to 600 homes. Yikes.
That'd be cool. Would you come with me to Vietnam? And if I had my own house there,
I'd like to go there.
we do an episode there.
Why not?
I'll be in a thong.
A Viet thong.
Viet thong. I'll be in a thong the whole time, and you're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Isn't this what you're supposed to do in Vietnam? wear a Viet thong."
Viet thong. Yeah, it's pretty odd though, man. So we're gonna have
you're
to
gonna
see.
be like, "What's that behind you?" I'm like, "Oh, it's my jade."
Vietnamese style.
That's my jade. That's my jade.
Well, I'm going to keep up with this story to see how she makes it. There needs to be a ticker of, like, where she's currently at with a race to $9 billion. Maybe you should reach out to her. You said you were kind of interested.
Yeah.
There was a very funny sentence in there that I wanted to go, but I can't find it. Oh, well.
I think that's interesting,
Anyways,
though, because that's one thing I love about China and certain countries. They have different punishments. And it's like, hey, you embezzled $27 billion. You're going to die.
It is kind of wicked that the death penalty for that. I don't think we would implement death penalty for fraud over here. Even if it is $9 billion, I can't imagine us doing that over here. It seems like a very Vietnamese
Or you can just
thing
get pardoned.
Oh, yes. Yes, pardon. There's all kinds of pardoning going on these days, isn't there?
Isn't that fun?
I just don't understand it, though.
Well,
why do we give the president that
immutable
right to pardon somebody?
I like it. Well, see, this is what I like.
It just makes no sense to me.
I had this conversation, and I was like, with a buddy, or no, I think it was on another show, And I go, my favorite thing about this Hunter Biden thing is they did it by like a time length. Not usually when you
10 years.
Usually when you pardon somebody, you do a thing where it's like this, wherever he got convicted of, like he's pardoned for that conviction.
Right. This was a blanket.
This is a blanket. So
meaning we know he's probably done other
so
stuff.
So what I would do again, I like messing.
We haven't found out.
I like
yet.
messing with you, right? So if I was president, I would just randomly go, I'm going to pardon Andrew between the this date on October 26th from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pardoned, and then December 24th, 6 p.m. to like midnight.
I like that because those are the times where I could just go out and do like a.
Well, no, it's in the past.
Oh,
and everyone would be like,
what did he do?
What did he do
on that time?
I think that's hilarious to me because it's like you could just do random stuff, and I would mess with it, especially like celebrities. That'd be so funny.
Well, the guy who shot the
like
United
Stale
Healthcare CEO this week,
I pardoned
I'm
him.
sure he could be pardoned, but just between the hours of 5 a.m. and 7 a.m., you're in the clear, dude.
Yeah.
You know what? What luck? That's when I actually committed, murder.
Well, that's what that idea is funny to me though. Pardoning for convictions, I get, but like to do a blanket stamp, you're like, man,
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I don't know if
pretty
that's ever been done
specific.
before or not, but
I know. I think
whatever.
it has for Nixon.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he got hit for his. I think it was just like a time period kind of thing, because he was videotaping or taping people. But yeah, I love that.
So
I love
they
that idea.
said.
I love that
So
idea
They said.
because you can mess with so many people, and especially with the reporters. Like I would, if I was Biden, I'd do it to Trump right now. I'd be like, I'm going to pardon Trump between these hours on this day from like.
Dang it! I didn't do anything
in
at that time.
1976. It's just like what happened then.
Well, I will be keeping up with this. Last week or the week before, I think it was, we covered a story about a church in England that was hosting wrestling matches in an attempt to boost attendance.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminded me of the Power Team of the 1990s. Do you remember the Power Team?
I remember. It's funny you say this because I watched Righteous Gemstones. Mm-hmm. It's an HBO show about a religious family who has like a mega church, and one of the sons is part of like the powerlifting for Jesus kind of thing.
Right.
And it totally hit my memory bank when I watched it. I go, they used to have this all the time.
Oh,
in
yeah.
Houston.
It was huge, man.
And
They were the
Houston,
OG of this stuff.
Yeah.
They were the OG of this church gimmick stuff. So I have a video there I want you to share with the onesies. Audio or not, I don't really care. You can probably turn it up. But what I think is really funny, I never got this stuff. Even as a kid, I never quite understood how these roided up guys had anything to do with church or God or anything. But they would basically tear phone books in half, break bricks.
They're doing ice bricks right now.
Yeah, I can't see the screen, but he's like basically flexing up in front of the congregation and going to bring his elbows down to break what appears to be about 8 different, maybe 16 actually, 8 on each side, blocks of ice.
Look, I love. Well,
It just doesn't make any sense to me.
It's entertainment.
It is entertainment. Come on, Mike. You can do it. I think they need to bring this back, though. But, do it with a little bit modern flair. Like you
don't
do.
think they're already...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, crushed it. But they could do it with, like, American Ninja Warrior, so they would go up there and have like, a sermon, but then they'd have to, like, run through an obstacle course for Jesus afterwards. It just doesn't make any sense.
Here.
I never understood this.
Do you think he has pads in his jacket?
I don't know. Those are some poofy shoulder pads.
Yeah, see, this is why they do it. They're spreading the word,
Nothing
dude.
says glory be to God like a roided up guy up there on stage breaking stuff over his head. Let's say a little prayer here.
Look at this. Listen to the music.
Before I put my forehead through 10 bricks here.
I think he's doing a baseball bat.
Oh, yeah, he's going to break a baseball bat over his knee. Oh, man. Oh, he's trying. He's struggling, though. I don't know, man.
This music's getting me going,
And I
dude.
think there were other knockoffs or spin-offs from this, right? I think there was another one called Strike Force. And it was like the low end. It was like the minor leagues of this stuff. But this video we're watching here was actually done in Houston in 1998. They were everywhere. I remember seeing them on TV. They were doing tours. And I guess they just kind of... they ran their course. Or they might still be around.
They traveled.
I don't know.
So this wasn't necessarily the church doing it.
No, they traveled all over.
They traveled.
Made appearances or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, roids for God, bro. Roids for God.
I like this guy.
I figured you
It's
would.
taking way too long to break this. There.
Oh, he's really having...
how many is he breaking?
Just one after the other after the other. I'm calling I'm calling BS on that. I bet you each one of them has already got like a hairline fracture in
That's
it.
because you don't. That's because you don't.
I don't believe. I don't believe. Staying on this theme of God.
Not believing?
Are you familiar with who Jameis Winston is? We don't talk a lot of sports on this because we're not a sports show. We're not a sports station, and to be honest with you, I don't know a ton about sports. But I do know who Jameis Winston is, and he is a quarterback who was drafted really high in the NFL probably 8 years ago, didn't live up to expectations, has gone to a few different teams, and he is now the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. And he's a very religious guy, and I think he's likable. But I want you to play this audio and just tell me what you think about his odd prayer that he is praying for here.
Here we go. Hold on 1 second.
I am a better player, but in times like this, it's an opportunity to continue to glorify the Lord,
There you go.
even
Bring it
through the toughest circumstances. I know I'm better than this.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
I'm just praying for the Lord to deliver me from pick sixes. That's not me.
I like it.
That's
phenomenal
something.
game,
So
offense,
normally
do
when
some
you're
great
praying,
things.
it's
Yeah.
I want
I mess it up.
I want to see that I can play up to my abilities. Lord, please help me. No, he's specifically saying, I just don't want to throw the ball to the other team and have it run back for a touchdown.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was gonna be like a sexual harassment thing.
No,
And I'm like,
no.
what did he do? This guy.
He
Feels,
threw a couple
You
interceptions.
can see the guilt in his body. He's like, oh man, I just feel so bad. Like,
Yeah, while you're at it, why don't you pray that the guard or the nose tackle is going to protect you a little bit better from a 5-man blitz or something?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Oh,
just funny.
That's what
Deliver me from
AJ
pick
Stroud
six.
needs.
Yeah. CJ Stroud.
CJ, or is it AJ or CJ?
It's CJ.
CJ?
Yeah,
I don't
CJ
know.
Stroud. You're a huge Texans fan. I can see. But this is why we don't talk
I did watch
sports.
the game. I
I don't know.
watch
I just wondered if, all those years you spent in the church, if you ever heard someone pray for something really specific like that. Because usually it's fairly general, and this is, come on, God, I don't want to throw the ball to the other guys. Have them run back on me.
It's so fun.
Love it.
The prayer stuff always makes you laugh. I remember I got in trouble with my family. My parents are
Not you.
We were religious, and we'd always pray before a meal. And I made a joke where it's like, when you pray for the meal, is it only the meal at the table,
Every meal, bro.
or is it the chips in the pantry? So if I go eat those chips, that's a bad thing. But if I eat the cornbread here, we're good.
They were blessed.
They were
It
blessed.
says the Power Team was a group of Christian evangelicists based in Dallas, Texas. I did not know that. They incorporate their preaching with displays of strength and martial arts skill. They were founded in the late 1970s by John Jacobs. All right. Yeah. Anyways.
All right, Power Team 2.0.
They're still around.
How we can help churches. Oh yeah, dude.
Love it.
I'm gonna see where they're next. I'm gonna see if we can go. We're gonna go.
Okay, let's do it. One of the stories that I teased earlier was, can blind people hallucinate?
What?
And what's interesting about blind people and hallucinations
Dude.
is they are actually
Sorry.
more common in visually impaired people. Yes.
There's a town they're
Yes.
performing in called Gun Barrel City.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with Gun Barrel City.
Really?
It's east of Dallas, yes. It's kind of rural, but yeah, Gun Barrel City. Heck yeah, man.
That sounds awesome.
It's not.
Why?
Sorry to all of our Gun Barrel onesies out there. It's just a tiny little rural town.
I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down. That means we can get in real trouble
Times
and
are-
maybe get away with it.
Times are getting rough for the old Power Team if Gun Barrel City's on their
That's where they're
their
going
tour.
next,
All
dog.
right, well, I'm sure we will
Sorry to
report
interrupt.
back.
I like to
but-
interrupt you.
Yes, you do. It's okay. Hallucinations are actually more common in visually impaired people. As many as 15% of visually impaired or blind people may experience what is called Charles Bonnet syndrome, or CBS, which takes its name from the 18th century Swiss naturalist who first described the phenomenon experienced by his grandfather. And I guess it makes sense because we don't actually see things with our eyes, Dick. It's just light, right? Isn't it just light reflecting off of objects, and then our mind interprets it
I
as
don't know.
something?
I don't believe anything my eyes see.
Well, okay. You're skeptic even?
Yeah.
Even if you can see it, I don't
Like
believe
even
it.
when I'm sleeping, I'm like, am I really seeing darkness? What is that?
What's interesting about this, it says, in a healthy eye, the optic nerve is accustomed to dealing with as much data as a high-speed broadband connection. When vision is reduced or lost due to damage to the eye, the neurons in the visual cortex are suddenly left with nothing to do. The visual cortex is already adapted to automatically fill in the gaps in our visual field to compensate for the blind spot. It seems, though, that these blind people with Charles Bonnet syndrome, the mechanism just makes wilder and wilder guesses. Victims report dancing monkeys, floating faces, and other strangeness. Sounds like a Saturday night with you, Dick.
Yeah.
Dancing monkeys, floating faces, and general strangeness. No, I think that's kind of
like
interesting.
that,
You
yeah.
do have a blind friend, and you've brought her name up on this show a few times
Carly.
before.
Shout out to Carly.
You'll have to ask her if she ever hallucinates or just has images, I guess.
Yeah, she told me she has wild dreams. And I was like, do you daydream?
I mean, I suppose that has nothing to do with her blindness.
Yeah.
Or are you asking me?
I asked her that, and she's like, well, what's the difference?
I guess. Well, one, you're asleep, and the other
Well,
is
she
you're
can't-
awake.
I mean,
yeah, you still have consciousness, even
And
though
then,
you can't
and then
see.
I
Dick.
asked her, I was like, do you close your eyes when you go to sleep?
Oh, wow. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, and she's awesome. She's an
Like,
awesome girl.
and her answer was,
And she's like, of course, I'm not.
I'm not a psycho.
I'm not a psycho. Yeah, but yeah, it's funny.
All right, last story before
She's great.
before the break. Do you remember, or did you ever watch Family Matters? The
Oh,
show
yeah.
Family. I loved Family Matters as a kid too, and of course, the biggest actor or character from that show,
Carl Winslow.
was Urkel. No, Carl Winslow was the
what?
dad.
I know Carl Winslow's so much better. He's in Die Hard, dog.
Well, actor Jaleel White, best known for playing the nerdy Steve Urkel on the classic TV show Family Matters, recently recalled network executives once asking him to switch up Urkel's iconic wardrobe to fix a particular issue. He had to start wearing looser jeans to hide his bulge. Because when he started the show, he was an 11-year-old boy, and he wore these iconically tight and hiked up pants that were pulled up by suspenders. Well, as he grew. And apparently there were complaints from viewers as Urkel was showing a little too much Urkel. I can't say that I don't remember seeing Urkel's bulge, but I also was not looking for it as a 12-year-old, 10-year-old boy.
Well, I mean, that's kind of funny to me.
It's hilarious, actually, that people were like, excuse me, I could see
Well,
mini Urkel.
I think they did that with several actresses with their bust size.
They squeeze them in.
Well, it was like they're growing up, and then they started developing breasts. So it was like, oh, we got to make sure she still looks young,
Okay.
but
Okay.
they don't want to sexualize her because she's still like the younger daughter.
Right.
or
No, I could
whatever.
see that.
So,
Yeah. But apparently this is a new Netflix special, and he's
like it.
talking about it.
I like it.
Yep. All right, man, it's a pretty good time to take a break, I think. When we come back, we're going to talk about getting rolled over by a huge tire on the Audience of One show.
Power Team.
Disassemble!
Car enthusiasts of Conroe, FM 104.5 and 106.1 Lone Star Community Radio invites you to shift into gear every Monday from 1 to 2 with Cruising Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy for news on all things automotive in the greater Houston-Conroe area. Can't make a live show? We've got you covered. You can find all of our uncut content, including full episodes on Spotify, iTunes, Play Store, YouTube, Facebook, and irlonestar.com. Again, that's Mondays 1 to 2, Cruising Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy. See you there.
You're listening to Audience of One here on Lone Star Community Radio.
You sound like a Pablo Picasso painting looks.
And I'm here with my buddy
Sliding off the canvas.
Andrew. And you can find us every Friday at 10 a.m.
Can you imagine if that is the way you talked?
Audience of One
During
show
the entire show.
at gmail.com is the best way to send fun articles to us. And then you can always subscribe to our podcast by looking up Audience of One show.
I don't know whether to be
And-
impressed by this or really creeped out, but I kind of like it.
I know. I
kinda like
well,
it,
it was
man.
funny. I was trying to reach. I'm kind of stretched right now, and I was like, "Oh, I got to start the show." And then I had to push this button, and then I got to push that button, and then so I was like, "Bring it with me, right?
Bring it to air.
Bring it.
I love it.
We're going. We're going. I
love it.
But yeah, welcome back to the show, part 2. And I still want to emphasize audience of one show at gmail.com. I want to get more crazy as hell articles. There's so many wild things happening in the world, and I'm not just talking stupid politics or anything. I'm talking like just, this woman going to sentenced to death for $9 billion. Like,
It's insane. Well,
how do you think they won it? Do you think it's just like one of those?
They want it in singles, all in one.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, I wonder.
Got to add some caveats to it to make it really interesting.
That's such a straight up gangster move too by the government. It's like, hey, we could potentially get a $9 billion increase in our budget. That means everyone's gonna have a Christmas turkey.
Do you think she's got a website right now where you can go and buy and bid on some of her items?
I don't know.
Yeah, and I bet you there's some good deals.
I always felt weird going to like estate sales.
Oh yeah, I love estate sales.
Well,
it is a bit odd.
It's what, because I'm an imaginary person, so I imagine like, oh, this is the table they ate at. Like that's why I was talking about the Hunter Biden thing. I was like, do you think they over Thanksgiving they had that conversation? Did he get pardoned before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving?
Right after, I think.
Yeah, so that's because right when that came out, I go, that must have been a hell of a dinner. It's just kind of like the wife sitting there, and it's like, you can do it. Well, I don't want to do it. Well, you can do it.
So, Hunter, what are you thankful for? Well, I'm thankful for my daddy being the president.
But yeah, no.
With certain immutable powers.
But estate sales make me think. It's like,
well, it is kind of sad in some cases because the person is either in dire straits or they just recently passed. Not every time.
Well, that's one thing that always surprises me, especially with like, I don't know how close you are with your family, but I'm fairly close with my family. And
I would say we're close.
I've met this person who does estate sales, and he's like, you'd be surprised how no one cares. So like the mom dies, or like,
it's because you don't have room for a lot of that stuff,
that, like,
man.
They're like they didn't even come visit. There's like they just want they want to sell the house.
Oh,
so they're getting
just
rid
give me cash. That's all. I'm interested in.
That's why I was like, dang man.
Well, not everybody has such a good upbringing and family life as you, Dick.
Well, it's because everyone has a stepdad named Donald Trump. But no, I was just. But then again, I like good deals.
Yeah, you do, and you can typically get good deals.
And I usually do that for goods that are like cigars.
You buy cigars at an estate sale?
Well, they're fresh.
Are they? I would think they wouldn't be. You all right?
I bought Bill Clinton cigars.
I bet you would.
This one tastes a little moist.
Like the jacket in the back of your car. Have you seen these
tastes
internet
a little, is this the Monica flavor?
Have you seen the internet videos, Dick, where people will cut their hair like in terrible, terrible fashion? They'll get the scissors and just cut their bangs off straight across or crooked, and then they act shocked at the way they look afterwards. And it's like, well, what did you expect? And it'll have, of course, like 500,000 views. But this person just takes scissors to their hair, cuts it, and then freaks out going, oh my gosh, I didn't know it would turn out this way. No, dude, you knew exactly it would turn out that way. I'm getting more and more of these, and I'm fearing it's a trend.
Well, I mean, you're talking about TikTok. Everything's a trend. And
I don't have TikToks. This is just stuff that's like suggested for you in Reels and Facebook.
Same thing as TikTok. To me, I call that TikTok.
Yeah, but whatever. I don't know, man. I think I may have fallen for an internet fake the other day, though. There was this advertisement that was pushed to me.
How good looking was she?
Not very. Younger girl, average looks, but she was sitting at a computer and she had a water bottle next to her, and the water bottle just starts spurting water into the air all over her. And apparently,
I was kidding. I thought this was like a sex sign.
No. Apparently, this is a water bottle that will start emitting water out the top as a reminder for you to drink water throughout the day. And I thought, this is not real. There's no way. So I did a separate search for this and could not find said item. But there for a second, I thought, this is a real product that squirts water at you. The water literally just started spewing out of this thing. And I thought, there's got to be better ways to remind you, like an alarm on your phone or a smart bottle of some sort. But when it starts erupting like a volcano, oops, and it was going all over her computer, and she's going, ah. So immediately she grabs it and sticks it in her mouth. Maybe it was something that was just a targeted ad, huh? I don't know, man.
I like it.
So, Dick, I'm going to give you credit where credit is due, and you were spot on with this, so just take it as a compliment, okay?
You know I'm right all the time.
You called this out. So you remember a few weeks ago, we talked about a cheese heist, and I was just amazed at how expensive cheese was, and you said, yeah, man, cheese is expensive. It's becoming the new thing. Like, you don't pose with sports cars anymore on your Instagram. You pose with cheese. Well, wouldn't you know that thetimes.com has an article of how a British cheese became so valuable that it was targeted by criminals. Yeah. It says British artisan cheeses should be regarded like fine wines or sports cars. That is the view of the small team of cheesemakers who had 12 tons of their world-renowned cheddar allegedly stolen by a sophisticated con artist, which I believe is the story that we covered. But just the fact that it should be regarded like fine wines in sports cars, which is exactly why you had your desires of posing with the gymnasts in cheese wheels back over the summer during the Olympics. But I had no idea, man.
Look at this.
Cheese apparently.
Yo, dog.
Yes, please show that because I was curious.
I'm pulling this up for the audience. Look at that. This is the Italian team, and this is how they raise funds.
I had no idea,
by doing some cheese.
Yeah, well, you were definitely
look at that. Oh, yeah, let's eat this block of cheese. Oh, gross. Oh, I love it. I think it's great, and I have a new kink.
Yeah, you do. You do. So, Dick, are you familiar with the Arecibo, which was basically a message that was our first attempt to communicate with extraterrestrials in outer space, kind of like the movie Pixels. And I think we tried to cover this as well on our show last week, but
this didn't make it?
Yeah, I don't believe this made it. But it says on November 16th, 1974, 8 years before E.T. did his phone home thing, on film, researchers sent humanity's first real-life deliberate radio message into outer space to extraterrestrials. The message went out from the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, because this is the X-Files episode I was telling you about.
Yeah, so apparently no one responded to this message.
Are you sure?
Yeah. It says we're still waiting, though.
Yeah, maybe the line got delayed.
Yeah, you think so?
They're doing snail mail. You know how scared people would be if like a satellite hits us and you open it and it's like a time capsule thing, like of their stuff?
Yeah, it freaked me out,
it's
man.
a bunch of goop and stuff.
Well, the message...
Goop.com.
This is what's interesting because it says the message included the formula for DNA, a crude design of the solar system, don't know why we're giving them all this information, and a drawing of the telescope, and a stick figure drawing of a human. You mean to tell me you went through all the trouble to send a message into outer space, but all you could do was a stick figure of a human? What the hell, man? Like, couldn't they have, I don't know, gotten some artist to draw?
It's because of the data.
Oh, you think it's too much to transmit into outer space?
We didn't know how to do it.
Oh, stick figure. That's good.
Because you're talking. When is this in the 60s?
I just figured we could put a Polaroid up there,
the 60s,
something.
Right?
1974.
No, this is a signal, bro. It's not like an actual capsule.
All right.
It's a signal, so it's kind of like trying to send a photo through your phone to other phones.
It says a stick figure of a human, a drawing.
But it's like you send it to a computer.
Okay.
So in the 60s, we didn't really have the greatest interface to interpret data.
It seems pretty cheap to have a stick figure. The aliens are going to think that we skipped leg day.
Well, I like it. I like it because I can't imagine the mindset of the astronaut or whoever the smart person is who did this. It's like, this is really like, if they really responded to this, like, this is useful information.
Right.
And I'm thinking, like, it's just a stick figure, dog. Like,
well, I think it'd be funny if we do this again, but we get a little more creative with it. We send out messages like, the Paul Tyson fight was rigged, just so the aliens know how we really feel about this.
Yeah.
Not a stick figure of a human being. Just seemed like if we were going to go through all that trouble, we would have had at least a little bit more creativity.
I like
with
it though, because you can. I mean, like, you don't want to give them too much info, but you want to let them know, like, hey, we're the ones in charge, not the cows.
Right.
So you got to like let them know that.
But with a stick figure, how much could we really control? They're going to let these people go, man, they're sickly. And then when they see us, they're not going to know it's the stick figure.
But again, you understand why they sent a stick figure.
That's like you keep saying, it's due to.
It's the way the data is sent. But you're also talking about in the 60s, like they didn't have
70s.
In the 70s, they didn't really have the greatest interface with their computers. So when you're sending a signal like a radio wave, you got to have something that's interpret. And so,
well, apparently it shaped cosmic research for nearly 6 decades, but it collapsed in 2020 after 2 cable failures.
Oh, you're talking about the satellite in Puerto Rico?
Yeah,
that collapsed.
Yes, but it said it shaped cosmic research for 6 decades.
Yeah, it was our biggest way to send like the.
So we're still sending out like stick figure pictures of people. Is it me you're looking for?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's wonderful though that we should continue doing that and just says, please don't destroy us. At the very end of every message, please don't destroy us.
I think it would have been nice to send a jade stone.
Yeah,
and a link to Goop.
No, I think
a link to Goop.
No, it should be a coupon to Goop.com. That's what it should be.
Dick, are you ever fascinated with the quote, world's largest, and then fill in the blank. Some of these oddities that you'll see in small towns. And it's always funny to me when I see these.
Yeah, I live with one of them in my pants. What?
Oh, my God.
That was easy. I'm talking about my nipple.
That's it. Why do you have a nipple in your pants?
I have a nipple in my... From space, that's what it looks like.
Well, apparently in the central Texas city
you got
of
Urkel.
Seguin.
You got nothing on me, Urkel. Okay, what's going on in Seguin? That's one of my favorite towns.
It is the pecan capital of Texas, but it also
This is
has
freaking
the
me out.
world's largest pecan. Do we need to save real quick?
Well, no, like, it's freaking me out that we're talking about, like, this didn't make the last episode?
I don't think it did. No, we did practically 2 hours worth of show last time and only made up 40 minutes.
Because I
So
only listened to it editing. I didn't, like, listen to us talk.
I don't think we did this story, did we?
I have no idea. You're the one that double checks to make sure we don't curse.
Yeah.
You're the curse checker.
I hope we didn't do this story last week. But these world's largest oddities are always funny to me because it's basically like you're competing with yourself. I want to see the second world's largest. Is it just a normal sized nut?
No, we talked about this because it's more of like what qualifies as the world's largest. So, like, for instance, the pecan one, I think originally it was a pecan.
Yeah. And then someone's
like, you know what? I'll make it out of concrete. And I don't know if they made a replica from concrete or they just wanted to make it as like a statue to honor it. But now people are like, no, that's like the biggest pecan.
Well, there was a dentist, Doc. It says his last name is Derelict.
Now the biggest, now one of them, someone in Seguin built a trailer size.
Was eager to promote Seguin's place as a pecan industry leader. Doc Derelict constructed the world's largest pecan in 1962, displaying it proudly on the north side of the Guadalupe County Courthouse. The pecan weighs 1,000 pounds, about the size of a smallish horse or a robust hippo.
But it's not a pecan.
No, it's not. And that's what I'm saying. It's kind of, I'm amused by this. And also, where do you notice? How do you know when to stop? Right.
So like, because
why did they decide 1,000 pounds? Because probably 500 would have still been the world's largest.
I guarantee you, if I was a neighbor,
What's second place?
I'd say I hated that doctor.
That's my point.
Say I hated that doctor. The first thing I'd be doing after he released that, I make one like 1,001 pound.
Right. Exactly.
And be like, "What's up, dude?"
It's like 8-minute abs. I'm going to invent 7-minute abs.
But like, so in Kansas, they have the ball of twine, right?
Correct. And I'm sure it's the world's largest.
Yeah, but it is legit a ball of twine.
Okay. Would you be impressed with the second largest world ball of twine?
I don't think the person who has that actually, I bet it's actually a manufacturer of twine. And they're like, hey, Kansas.
All the spares, yeah.
Yeah, it's like.
The leftovers.
Yeah, it's like, we have this already, guys.
This is true.
But, like, again, that to me is legit twine. So I get it. Like, you can say that.
Yeah, this is a concrete thing. It's not even a real pecan.
Yeah, it's like that's like saying we have the biggest statue of Sam Houston here.
Right. It's the only statue probably of Sam Houston. Well, there's probably a few others out there. And it is quite the bragging piece, I have a feeling.
What? Which one? The pecan?
No, any of it. Any of the world's largest.
What do you think? Well, I think a world's largest cupcake would be pretty tight.
Would it be a real cupcake, or are you talking about concrete?
I'd jump in it, though. I'd jump in it.
You know, I've been to Seguin many a time, and I've never seen this world's largest pecan. And I have to admit,
I didn't know they had pecans there.
now am drawn to visiting this over the winter.
Let's do it.
Yeah, just you and I. Let's go pose in front of the world's largest pecan.
And I'll put my butt in it.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
I think you should ride it. Get on top.
This is the new jade egg. I can't believe. You know what's funny? I watched that witch show on Disney, Agatha All the Way.
Okay. I have no clue what you're talking about.
So it's one of the Marvels. I'm not,
right.
I'm a comic guy. I was like, oh, I heard this was okay. They made a goop joke.
No way.
Yep.
That means they're onesies. You know that. They're listening.
Oh, like one of the witches owns one of those holistic stores. Mm-hmm. And it's like a modern version, and so the main character goes in. She's like, "Put a jade egg on my tab," or something like that. And I was like, "Okay, all right, we're all in on this good joke."
Well, apparently the nut is showing its age and does need some touch-ups from time to time.
Yeah.
And it says trying to find someone to touch up the original nut can be challenging. And I know that you are challenged trying to touch up the original nut.
I'm just challenged in general.
This is something you can identify. It says everyone's a little bit nervous about taking on the job because it is such a visible landmark for the community. so visible and such a
really
landmark. I haven't.
We really got to see this.
I didn't even know about it. It came up in my social media, I think.
The only thing I remember about Seguin is it has that random roller coaster.
I'm sorry, they have a random roller coaster?
Yeah.
Like solo by itself?
Yeah.
No, what are you talking about?
Yeah, like it's the most random. Like the place itself is an amusement park, but the only ride they have is a roller coaster.
I've never seen it. It's by itself. It doesn't seem to make much sense.
Yeah,
I think the appeal here is other rides and other things to do, like teacups along with it. If it's just the one roller coaster, I can't imagine that being a successful formula for a business.
Oh, whoa! They actually add more rides. Wonderful. Because I was
maybe you just saw a park that was under construction, Dick, and it wasn't finished yet. What are they doing with one ride?
It's called a switchback.
Okay.
And we went there. I went to Seguin for my bachelor party. And my buddy wanted to ride a roller coaster, and I was like, hell yeah, let's do it.
Of course he did.
So we went, and no one was there. We rode it 7 times in a row. And I don't know if you've ever gotten off a roller coaster riding it 7 times in a row.
No.
You will throw up.
Oh, I imagine.
And you don't want to.
I imagine.
Because I was having a blast, and then we get off, I'm like, I don't feel very and then I'm like, oh, that's why people throw up. But I guess my limit is 7.
Right, now you know. You never would have known.
Because the guy didn't even stop. We come in, and that break. And he goes, after the second time, he just goes, I'm just going to keep sending y'all if y'all want to keep going. And we're like, just give me a thumbs up if you're good. I'm like, okay. I remember, we're rolling by. It's like, thumbs up. He's like, bitch. And it just sends us off again. It was so much fun.
Well, did you know that Alvar Núñez Cabeza de Vaca, a Spanish explorer in the 16th century, deemed the Guadalupe River the River of Nuts? Because of its copious pecan trees lining the banks. But you know what? It wasn't the world's largest nut. No, sir.
That's in Seguin.
All right, as teased...
Isn't that the Guadalupe River?
Yeah, runs through there. As teased, the Rollagon. This is a vehicle that makes running over yourself fun. You can't make this stuff up, but the following image... It's an image you can show the onesies, appeared on the December 1957 issue of Mechanics Illustrated. I wonder how Mechanics Illustrated is still doing these days. But it shows a woman smiling while being run over by a mammoth truck with unusually large wheels. The woman appears to be of average build, not like a strongman competition type that we see on TV, performing stunts like that. But she appears to be enjoying herself and apparently unharmed. The accompanied caption identified the vehicle as Chevrolet manufactured Albi Rollin-On, weighing 7 tons.
Wow.
Now, how is it that a 7-ton vehicle can run over this lady who, again, smiling? But apparently this is a type of, the Rollagon, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, is a trademark name for a type of tire that is designed for use in rugged terrain or traversing the soft ground of a desert or tundra. The tires have a large surface area and are filled with low air pressure, about 5 psi. 4 pounds
that
per
still
square
hurt him
loose.
though. That still hurt him.
Look, that looked brutal.
Look at him.
Oh yeah, didn't hurt at all as he limps off. It says for comparison, a typical car tire is pumped to about 30 to 35 psi. But because the weight of the vehicle is distributed over a large surface, it exerts much lower pressure on the ground compared to conventional tires. I think we need to get our hands on a Rollagon tire and
what is this guy doing?
Roll smooth clean over you, man.
What is this guy doing?
This is nuts. This just goes to show you we had nothing better going on in the 50s, man.
No, I think we're going to the moon, baby.
Like, what do you want to do today? I don't know. Let's run over each other with a 7-ton truck.
I like it. If I had one of those, you know how much fun that would be?
Well, it says the Rollagons were invented by William Hamilton Albee, who was a teacher living in a small Eskimo village in the Bering Straits of Alaska. Well, that's, again, not a lot to do there, buddy. I think we're identifying his reasoning for becoming this type of inventor. It says he invented a company while on a fishing trip in 1935. He observed a group of Eskimos hosting heavy wooden boat loaded with about 4 tons of a catch in and out of the water and into the muddy banks using several bags of inflated, airtight sealskin, which they rolled under the boat.
I think it's wonderful.
Isn't it, though?
I want one.
You want one? I think you just want to know. I want to be the driver and run clean over you, man.
I want to know what it feels on my,
Think about it, though. You got parents now that are complaining about their kids always on social media or always on their phone. Do you think the parents back then were going, I don't want you playing with that roll-a-gon?
I like it.
There's a bunch of hoodlums getting run over by cars.
You don't even know you run over stuff. That's what's.
No, you don't feel
that's
anything.
the
5
beauty.
pounds of pressure on that huge tire.
That's the beauty of it.
But it has to be sturdy enough to be able to support the weight of that 7-ton vehicle, but soft enough to not destroy the lady underneath it.
Yeah, interesting.
It is kind of interesting. I wonder if it's the world's largest tire.
No.
See how I put that all together? Like a broadcasting genius right there. Brought it all back together. World's largest tire. It won't even be a real tire, I bet.
Allen Park. Oh, God. Is it real?
Is it in a small city? Let me guess.
Here, Roadside America. Oh, great ads. It looks pretty cool, though. You see that?
You know, I don't know if you've changed something or maybe I'm over further, but I cannot see the screen.
What? That's your
I don't
problem.
know.
That's your
Yeah, I know. Well, you're saying.
not my
look at
problem.
Well, unfortunately, William Albee failed to turn the concept into a successful business. Who knew there wasn't a huge market for massive, big-ass tires to run over people? His company ran into financial troubles, forcing Albee to sell his company assets in 1960. It says the roll-on trademark is now owned by the Texas-based National Oilwell Varco, or NOVE, the world's leading supplier of equipment and components used in oil and gas drilling. So this roll-on equipped vehicle is still in use
You're going
today.
to love this. So I have the website up.
All right.
So you see the tire, right?
I see the tire.
So this is in Michigan. So what they did in 1998, they stabbed the tire with an 11-foot long, 250-pound nail, and they wanted to call it the largest nail.
Okay.
Just
Just random. I would call it the world's largest flat tire. But again, what's the second? Who's going for these records? I feel like you're just competing with yourself. I don't know.
Whoa, they sold it on eBay.
Of course they did. Of course they did.
Whoa, for $3,000? I would have bought that.
All right, man, it's a pretty good time for our quick hit here at the end of the show.
I would have bought that and brought that to you and left it in your house. It's like, hey, I got
Thanks.
you this gift.
Thanks. Much appreciated.
250-pound nail. I would have given it to the power team. Yo, power team, here's Jesus' nail.
Crush this.
Nail this to the cross.
Are you familiar with who Otto Frederick Roadwheeler is?
No.
Or Rowetter. Well, he was an American inventor and engineer who has created the first automatic bread slicing machine for commercial use. That's right. He invented sliced bread. Can you imagine living in a time when sliced bread was the greatest thing ever? And then being the person who invented it.
Yeah. Bread's very important to society.
But can you imagine it took all the way up until 1880 before someone said, wouldn't it be great if we just had this loaf of bread pre-sliced?
Well, I think 1880 was when they started doing steam stuff, right? Or a little before that. Well, probably way before that.
I don't know. Actually, that's when he was born. I don't even know if that's when it was invented. Somewhere after that, obviously. Now, if he did invent it in the womb, that'd be even more impressive, but I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems like we're so jaded now, but it must have been a simpler time, a better time. When sliced bread came out, and you're like, wow.
Dude,
we're living in the future now,
you
guys.
lived by a bakery?
We're living in the future. Oh, the smells are so good.
I lived by a bakery one time.
I don't think I could live. Oh, yeah, you told me you wandered in drunk in there every now and again to get some bread.
I wander into a lot of places. Ever tell you the story about the firehouse?
You wandered into a firehouse?
Yeah.
Did you say somebody left me in my bassinet here on the front? Take me to my mama. No, I don't think you told me about this one.
I did that one time.
No kidding. Not surprised. Not surprised at all. All right, buddy, this was a pretty good show.
I just want to see what
I'm
they're
glad
doing.
that we made it through without a computer crash. We did save a few times, so it sounded like we were a little disjointed. We were sneaking in pauses, basically, everyone. So
now I got to make sure I edit it correctly.
A little bit of inside baseball here, guys. So, yeah, awesome. Thank you for joining us, onesies. We will talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.